Okay, we're live on YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna record. We still have 5 minutes officially, but we can talk about preparation that I had a video I made last night for stretching the template. Did you have chance to watch that? Is that a good idea? Let me show you the result I have here. You can see it's not perfect. It's my first time. I think just a little bit uneven here, but the main part, the picture part, is perfect. I don't mind. This lower part is not painting area, so you can feel it. And the advantage of doing this stretching is basically for Gombi or Boneless style with the size paper. You can have the template under it. You don't have to outline in our style. You can start coloring, and without getting the wave, the buckles. I think you can even do the tone, but if you do an overall wash, there still be some wave, I think. So I will save the overall wash, the whole thing. If I just do the details, it will keep very flat. You will see the neatness of that. Okay. We have two agenda today, so I try to do both, but because sometimes we have to wait the steps to dry. That's when we shift projects. I wish you it's okay with you too. Okay. What convenient way to do? Okay, let me get some other brushes for the. I can't find that. There's a brush is called the long tip winter wolf hair for chrysanthemum. I couldn't find. That one could be used for outline the petals of the. But we can use this brush called the Rainbow Lian liner. This is our new version, has the description on it, but the older version is the same. Basically, it has the soft hair on the inside, some inside. Yeah, basically that's softer. And this one is very good. The seven wolf, 3 sheep hair. It has this kind of sharp tip. It's good for detail. I'm going to open this one. It's a new one. So 1 more minute. Let me check someone is on the phone. We maybe need help. There's last minute new sign up. So Victoria is working on that. So we can start right now. We're recording this live. Let me mute you guys. So today we're going to learn some autumn theme flowers and foliage. The red foliage and chrysanthemum. The chrysanthemum, okay. Let's do chrysanthemum first, since I got this on the first pages of the handout. You might ask what paper to use, right? I got 3 sheets of paper and I don't know which one is which, supposedly. So the way to tell that is by testing. You can just drop clean water. Just drop a water, then you will see if it expands, absorbs, that's unsized paper. This one is very absorbent. It's the Confucius roll. Comes with this. I call it a practice paper. It's not the best quality, but it's good enough for student. It's very absorbent. See that I got dark padding underneath, so you can see it. This is, you see the expansion, right? If you use this kind of paper for the first time, you will remember this moment. Oh, just like painting on napkins, right? How can we do that? Yeah, you can do that. I'll show you. And this one is, I think it's semi-absorbent. It's hard to see. Yes, you see this is a little harder to say. I cannot really tell by looking at it. You can see the stroke. You know, this water does not penetrate through. See, it has nothing on the, it's dry on this side, and semi-absorbent. It has moisture on this side, but not as smearing as this one. If I use the same amount of water, just like that, you can see the difference, right? Can you see the difference? Same brush. See the difference? Semi-absorbent, absorbent, and if I do between these two, semi-absorbent and non-absorbent, you cannot see anything, right? So there are different approach to different paper. This experiment tells this. So when you do the chrysanthemum, the most difficult part is the leaves. So let's do some practice. If you have different paper, you can use semi-absorbent and absorbent, raw, unsized, and semi-sized. I'm not going to do this one because it doesn't make any sense. This one is for Gombi and the boneless style we're going to do. This one could be freestyle or spontaneous style or same boneless style, but it's a little different than this one. So this one is, if you do boneless painting on this two, it will be different. This one leans to more spontaneous. You cannot really have full control like on this one. So if I do the leaves on this one, see, I have to do it fast, right? And on this one, same brush. You might notice, oh, my ink is not dark enough. No. The ink is the same. Only because this paper does not absorb so much as this one, okay? You have to do it faster on the on this one than this semi-absorbent one, right? The leaves on this paper could be more detailed. Like for example, we can use light ink to do the turnover part. Let me do it here. So let's just do a stroke like that. Or because I got, just use it. Let me dilute it. So we can use 2 tones to separate the under side and the top side. So you can do a stroke like a chrysanthemum kind of shape like that with the light ink. It's very light. I think that, yeah, there's a little bit, just a little bit. And then on this one, if you do the same thing, it would be very challenging because you cannot really, you can still do that, you know, just try, let's try. And then you load the brush with darker gray. You can dilute it a little bit. And on this one, okay. So you do another one which indicates the front side or the top side. I'm using a combination brush, rabbit hair combination brush. It's a little overlapping. It's okay. You can. But I try to avoid that. And you can just do the front. This indicates the leaf that's curved. Let me show you the real chrysanthemum here. Let me finish this one before that. So this one, you can still do it, you know, but it's kind of hard because it smears. So we don't really try to do the 10 over leaves on this paper. What we do is you can do some leaves in lighter ink and some in dark. So just vary the tonalities. You can see this is what normally people call it sumi painting, you know, this kind of paper. More spontaneous and has a lot of effect, but you cannot manipulate anything. You record every stroke. It's non-forgiving. On this paper, you have some room, but not much to, you still have to do it in the sense of calligraphy. Now, let's talk about this paper. So we are familiar with this, I assume. The class is now focused on more on this two paper, I think. So for this size, the paper, we need to use two brushes. You can use a smaller brush because it's basically gombi painting. You know, we use a gombi liner. We have a gombi liner. That's a two-step brush. You can also use 7 Wolf. This is a 7 Wolf brush. It has 2 steps. Or the red hair it also have the tip, sharp tip. And here's how we use this. You use one brush for the color or ink. Okay, you can use a little gray and then various grays. But to get a gradation like this, you know, or that, you need to work like this. So you do something like a shape, and because it's monotone, you don't have to worry. If you try to vary the loading on this brush and then try to keep it on the paper, to deliver it on the paper, it won't work. Just like a Western watercolor, you cannot, it doesn't work with a multiple load. And this is how it works. Second brush. Yeah, the second brush is drier. Sometimes it's wetter. That's a different approach. So normally, if you spread let me try. I got tangled string on the bottom. So they normally do this. It's same way they hold. You can hold the brush in 2 hands, no problem. So you draw, it's kind of like a shape or whatever, and then you do you put some dark along the tip and the edge, maybe and then you pour it with the clean brush, the sponge brush, which is, yeah, I call it the sponge brush because it's relatively drier than the first one. So it will not rain the paint, but kind of take the paint away.
Excuse me, Henry.
Yes.
There are people waiting to get into the class.
Thank you for reminding me. I know this is going to happen, but sorry.
Okay, I see it.
Mute everybody. Thanks for, okay. Let me repeat what I just said for those who just joined the class. We're talking about the different paper and different style. Different style matches different paper, basically. Spontaneous style, or 写意, 写意, meaning writing idea writing. It's a Chinese word for the spontaneous okay, 写意, writing ideas. That's the paper we use, absorbent paper or unsized paper. The different names, raw paper or untreated, you know. This is semi-sized, and you can see the absorbency is less. If you just turn it over, you'll see the difference. Okay, this is raw. You can see almost the same as the front, right? And this is semi-sized. It's like semi-absorbent, sized. Okay, size is the treatment for blocking the absorbency, and this is totally sized, and you can see very little or no. If there's something, that's because the layer that prevents the water resist is destroyed. So you need to add alum and gelatin. Okay, let me see if there's any question on chat. Okay. See, blurry. I try to, let me see if it's okay. The focus is okay, right? Okay. Now, I will show you the approach on this paper, basically. When we do the chrysanthemum, you need to use two brush like this, and one is a clean water brush. Sometimes I just confuse and I started to use and I just use this one for delivering and charging. Maybe you can use you can charge before it gets dry. You can still add to it. So basically, you draw a shape or form, and then you kind of manipulate it a little bit. You can. Sorry, I'm not used to this yet. So you need to practice like this. Okay. So let's do a painting. The other part is quite similar to each other. I think one other thing between this, we call it boneless. Boneless meaning no bone. Bone in Chinese is the outline. This is the outline, right? In Gombi style, they need to have a template that's outlined, And you need to draw this kind of contour and the veins of the leaf before you do the wash. That's called gombi. This is a gombi liner. This is what you used to. This is called gombi. Gombi. This is Mogu. Here, this character pronounced as the third, the fourth tone. Mogu. Mogu, meaning boneless. This is gombi, meaning fine line. Fine line style required the contour comes first, and then you do the wash, the different layers of wash. In Mogu style, you do the opposite. You start washing first. And you can either leave it without outline, leave out the outline, or you can add the outline after this dries. You cannot add wet into wet. But on Xieyi style, the freeze style, I just realized I'm I'm looking at the wrong side. You see, this is kind of a common mistake. And you draw these veins before it gets dry, very important. That's a spontaneous style. And I know everybody in Nongxiang, the group have learned this in the past and on this paper, so I'm not going to talk more. And on this one, you need to wait it dry. I use my palm to dry it. Okay, and you can use the same, but normally we don't do the contour because like here you see a little seam line because I added the water and some charge to it, so it creates some kind of natural outline. This little seam line or stain line, border or edge, hard edge. We call this hard edge in Western watercolor. Right? So we can omit that. You see, you can, with some little moisture, it's okay. You can design. You can. So this is semi gombi. Maybe you might call it mogu actually. Complete mogu would be have no ink at all, and you can use color to paint the to draw these lines. So either no outline, basically no contour to start with, but there's common ground between these two, the Mogu and the Gombi. That is, you must have a design. So that's why I sent you the design for Gombi to practice, the one in the handout. But we will do that one later. Let's just do a quick warm up with this chrysanthemum on the screen here. To work on this one, we use the outline brush, the Gombi outline, to draw this petals. You may notice that let me enlarge this one. There are some. So let's just copy the original. I have a copy that I did earlier. So let's just concentrate on this group. And you will see there are some flowers in the front, some behind, right? And the shape of the chrysanthemum is like a crab. I have a chrysanthemum, but it's almost blooming, but we still have to wait for another week or so. You can see Let me enlarge this. Okay. Let me show you some characteristics of the flower. Oops. You can see the leaves from this angle. Let's see. Let me change the view here. Okay. Some characteristics of the chrysanthemum. First of all, there are notches on the leaf. You can see they're not flat, not smooth. And you can count them almost like a 5, right? Some people start from the tip to the bottom, do the same. For mainland artists, they often start maybe from the bottom to the tip. It doesn't matter, but each section is done in 2 strokes, basically. You can see the main leaf in the tip. There's some a small notch, so you make that. I can take a dead leaf here, so we can take a closer look. Okay. But we do the flowers. We have to do the flowers first. The reason is that the flower is the focal point. Right? Let's do the flower first. And you need to make some circles with your maybe fingernail, like in the composition, how large it's going to be. Okay, let me show you the table. And let's see. And this group on the left is larger than I have a complete picture I did here. You can see. So one group on the right, one group on the left. If you have a fold in between, let me see. The middle one should take about half. Yeah, I don't see the folding line. Yeah, it's about half. So that's about here. I need to leave some room for the stems. So it's a little higher than what I initially draw. It should be. And there's a grasshopper hidden. Don't worry about that. You can do bees or some other things if you like. Okay, so start. Ready? So I will draw 3 lines, 3 petals like that to start with in the front. And then I develop into 5 on the side, maybe add 2 more. Look at the beginning and ending. There should be a clear stop using very light ink. It's a little too dark. You can charge it. You can add it if you need it. So make sure it's, because this is going to be a light color. You can use yellow or green as base, and then white. So this one, the artist has this kind of style, because when you do it fast, it has this calligraphy, like carelessness. Don't try to depict. So basically, I draw 1 line first, either left or right. Then I draw the second one, which matches the width of that, the first one. And I have a general idea how big that is. So just keep an eye on the whole, and make sure the center is concentrate, is kind of dense. So you should have some overlapping, maybe at least not too much space. You can see there's some kind of undefined, unopened petals hidden there in the center. So it's just filling the space between large petals with those small things in the middle. And then I call this a little crab, shape. So this is my claw. 1 and 2. I always try to find kind of a balance, counterbalance. So when left, when right, it's a little different height and weight maybe. So if you do the left one, then the right one just match that. It could have some turn, you know, like a, some turnover, something like that. Let me zoom in a little bit more. And I don't really do this, you know, pull the brush. You can pull the brush on this side. You can push the brush. I mean, always pull the brush is easier, I think. Yeah, let's just pull the brush. Just make it. Meaning, when I say pulling, the brush is, the tip is used, but you don't have to hold it straight. Because I know it's the ideal way to, you know, to hold the brush always like that. But sometimes we just make it easier to hold the brush like this, but still keep the brush tip in the center. And when I draw each petal, I kind of align them. I'm looking at the imaginative shape of that crab. So this is this like 4 legs of the crab on the side, but the crab may turn the other way. You know, just some idea. You know, when I talk about crab, there's a flower, chrysanthemum called crab. It's edible, crab chrysanthemum, right? I don't know if it has the shape. It has to do with the shape. But for me, a lot of chrysanthemum have this this crab shape, I think. And you can just kind of round it up if you like. So the center is slightly darker. And if I enlarge the stroke on the pieces of paper here, you see how I started like this. I always have a nail head and a rat tail, nail head, rat tail. There are basically 2 kind of stroke talking about starting. You can have a needle top. So instead of nail head, you can have a teardrop stroke, which is not used here. I think that's kind of teardrop. Maybe, you know, useful later somewhere on leaves could be. But here we start with a nail head, which you hide the tip like that. You put a little pause. So that's very important. And you can see the petals here, they don't really closed, because if you look at the real petals, this is like a tube, you know, something like that. Something like that. And on the head. But we don't really do detail like that. So we just put a nail head. All right. About this detail in the petal. And I can divide a little bit. If you think the size is too big, you know, you can just make it a little smaller. That's adjustment. You can add a little smaller stroke there. So that's my one on the right. Now I'm going to do the second one, which is actually larger than the first one. So I will do right here. We can make a pour of a light ink, so we don't have to always dilute it. Just make a pour of that, and then just dry the brush. Because this paper does not smear, so it could load a lot ink without worry about that. And you can do some light, and then you can drop a little water to enhance it. It's all work, just using your common sense. So I start to draw this center. That's a little bit variation from a round shape like the previous one. So I'm looking at this sample. I see this is more kind of developed in the center towards it has a tendency to lean to the left, right? So this is the dense center. It's like the crab's shell shape. And then the claws, 1, 2, and here. And then the rest, the legs, just concentrate on the pattern. I will do 4 or 3, just to see, when you look at it, you look at the continuity of the stroke. Like here, I see 2 almost identical, like that. And then I add help to finish, to complete. So I look at the pattern or gesture lines, then I finish it with the width, the matching lines. So at this one, I'm going to do the center, and then you can see obviously the 3 on top is done in one step. So this one leans towards the left as a side view. So this center is sideways, looking sideways, right? 3. You don't have to distinguish each petal in this kind of dense and half opened center, and then I see it's 2 of that. Oh, you can do the larger ones, the claws, but this claw, and I may just do the rest like that. So I have a pattern of this little claw is right here, claw of the see, I always draw like that, and it maybe 3, and then I finish by, but you still have to stop at the beginning, right? And then I either add to the bottom or to the top of this stroke. You in this way you might vary a little bit from the because we don't have a design in this case. This is a Xieyi or my artist style. They don't. He doesn't have the design as the other painting. I'm going to show you with the design later. Actually, you should do this maybe the middle layer first, because I have been some problem to decide which one is in the front. So maybe we should develop the center and then the outer center and then the last layer on the outside. You don't have to count each one of the original, and then if there's a if you count, oh, there's an additional one, I have to do this. But sometimes it will go out of the shape of the whole. So I'll keep the wholeness, the whole shape in my mind when I draw my painting. I keep an eye on the shape of so I see the shape is complete, then I don't have to count the strokes of the original, right? And there's some overlapping between these two. It's nice to have. You can have some so they're not isolated. They kind of intermingled, overlapping. That's good to have. Okay, so that's my 3. And here I will do. We'll just finish this one first, and we'll okay. Now we're going to use this reference, and this one is it's the old leaves missing the front section leaflets. Okay, this is the shape of that. And if you look at the real flower again, they don't grow from the same point on the stem. The stem is kind of half woody, half grass. Something. You see that they don't come from the same point. There are three directions. They go kind of alternate. And you got a piece of paper towel. Okay. But before you do the leaves, you might want to do the stems. For beginners, it's the better way. But for advanced artists, I would just draw an imaginative vein with my fingertip. Because this way, some stems is behind the leaves. You don't have to do. But in this case, the artist draw the vein first. I can see clearly he did that. You see, maybe some part, not completely, but yeah. So we can draw this with a little green, which is a mixture of indigo and gamboge and some ink. Yeah, some ink. It's okay. So. And gamboge. This is a yellow chunk. Gamboge, it comes with like this. They use a bamboo as a container to get the sap from the gamboge vine. That's why it comes with this shape. And I got some whatever, maybe a little vermilion left there. So just use that. This is I'll do this little calyx first, and just under the flower, just dot some dots like that. It's hidden kind of, so you don't have to do all. Just there's a perspective thing. You need to worry about that. If it's side view, you should see a little more. And they just kind of spread a little bit from the center point. And you need not to trace every little things, but it's good to have some hint of that. So this is very calligraphic, meaning you have to look for the direction and the length, look for the next stop before you go, and then just stop. And then you look at the next line, something like that, right? They do split like this. We have the flowers on this part. You can see how they split. They grow from different, see they're very nice, huh? Almost like this. Different leaf. Okay, they go from the where the leaf grow out, so they don't really come from the same point though. So I need to vary that. So these are natural principles. Usually the natural way is the beautiful way also. And I do little leaflets, just you can see that in a real flower here. One long, one short, don't have to be symmetrical, but they don't come from the same point again. It's like the same rule as the leaves. So this kind of rules, botanical rules, also aesthetic rules. I think they're just nicer to know. Okay, now I can start to do the leaves in the front. there are 5 sections, but you can see some leaves just 3. So 1, 2, right? You can combine 2 to get 1 and 2. You don't have to copy exactly the shape, just the stroke. You know, just do it in 2 strokes. And you can put some small ones at the end. That's how this was done, I think. And then you can, if it's not dark enough, you can add ink, or you can, if it's too dark, you can take it out. You can blot it if you want, but I will leave it. I see there's the artist does use multiple load here. So I loaded the ink just like a, you know, like in the freestyle, we can load the front of the brush with ink. But it will not really work as good as the sized paper. But you can paint Xieyi on this paper, no problem, right? So in the painting, we really worried more about the shape of the cluster instead of individual leaves. Okay, that's how, and then okay, you can put a lot of small leaves, which is just added sometimes for aesthetic. And I think some flowers near the end of the stem has some small leaflets as well, just to add some interest. This stem is woody, pretty strong, although they're not strong enough to hold the flower, heavy flower. So we have a fence Victoria just built for them in our backyard. Very nice fence. Very loose bamboo fence. It's going to work as a frame, you know, to hold it. Very nice. Usually they paint with bamboo as well. So this is the leaf, and I'll do the last group with a little more ink. So you can have some ink there, and maybe less indigo, more ink in the bottom. And I see there's tendency of kind of like that towards the left and up strokes that kind of communicate between the two groups. Okay, and this one goes down like that, and the stem. And you can cover the leaf. I mean the stem. So the leaves could be in the front of the stem, right? And here's another stalk. And we'll start. You can do the leaves first. Let's just try that. I can see the artist may have done that. Okay, so we'll do the leaves first this time. Because this is a tender flower, we can have a little yellow, a little indigo, a little greener, but lighter. You can have a little indigo in the front instead of ink. But I'd still like to mute it. It's kind of nicer to have ink leaves. Not too far from the previous one. Let me show you the whole picture. Oops, that's a different painting I bought from auction. Okay, this is my copy of the original. You can see the relationship. It's a little taller, but kind of narrower, but not spread so much because this is a secondary group. You know, sometimes you just go with your feeling. You don't have to count each individual leaves. It's not like that. Just look at the painting as inspiration, and also the real flowers. If you get an impression from the real flowers, just try to and see. Your brush don't have to leave the paper before you finish it. Some artists, like I indicated earlier, would start from the bottom, and you can do it, like this, and then this. This is I exaggerate, so I can show you you don't have to leave little white pockets. You can also do this. So maybe just because the convenience, it depends on which side of the brush. Maybe here you do it from outside in, here you do it from inside out. It could be top down or bottom up, but the result is about the same. Sometimes doesn't really matter. The fingering, just like a fingering on playing music. The other day, I asked my teacher, should I do this and that? And she doesn't even aware of this question. It's a question because the sound you produce, she said, is will tell you what to do. That's the answer. So the result, as long as you know the result, the desirable feeling, of the painting, you can do anything you like, as long as it has the rhythm of calligraphy, and see, this is a little change. I made this large one a little too towards the left, so I need to something make it up. So I'm going to change a little bit. I just did this one here. Let me finish the whole gesture of this. Let me just clean up my palette, whatever left there is. And you can see the little leaflets. This is too dry. So I just add that. You can add some more color if you want. So you can still add to it. So just make it up. You try to make people think you still, did it in one stroke. You can put some suggestion of it. You don't have to add leaves like the real one, just sparsely. That's, we call it simplify things. Yeah. Just change that into a leaf instead of the flower. Doesn't matter. You can still redefine things according to your picture. Okay, now I'm going to work on this group. It has a half bloom here, maybe 1/3 group bloom there. So this shape is more like a pointed, and we have some spots here. You can look at that. I need to do this spot according to the flowers here. See this one? It's rounded, right? Can you see it? Yeah, see this calyx stroke. That's what I'm going to do here. So I can use a little more green color. 1, 2, 3. don't have to count. And you have a little base, kind of. You can do the, let me turn this into a flower again. And just make a small one there. I have to do this one differently, maybe a little towards the left. And just get some gray here. And getting loose and loose from very dense close here, getting loose and loose. There's a rhythm you can feel. It's opening, right? Blooming, opening from center, the tight center here, getting a little looser, a little looser, a little, a very small one compared to the mature early ones on the other stem. So this one could be the cloud. And then we need to make this. You know, I see a dark line on the petal. It could be just a happy accident, you know, because the dot, the ink can leak, can kind of bleed into the stroke that's still wet above, you know, that. So you don't have to copy exactly. If that happens on your painting, it's fine. If it doesn't happen, it's also fine. So you don't have to try hard to copy exactly the little every little tone or value, or, you know, and these are, I believe that's nice to have. Okay, then I go back to do this according to my flower here. It's rounded and there's some center kind of wrapped there, and I do a little green one maybe. So, and this one's open with oops, I think I turned it the wrong way. Yeah, that's something. Well, I just feel that let's just do that. So it's like a thumb up or something. I feel like thumb up. Well, that's it just happened naturally sometimes. You know, if you try to copy mine, you may not get it. With this style, we need to do the veins before it gets dry. See that it's done on wet, so you have to time. You have to manage your time. So this is almost dry. My weather here is very dry. Humidity is less than 20 these days. Okay, I just do the center one. If you want to do the secondary veins, you can, but you know, let me show you what his style is. My collection, you can see this one is larger painting. So he did the veins, the secondary veins. He has a style that omits the front ones, only put a little dot at the end of the center vein without developing it. That's a nice style, I think. So he would do something like just like that, and you know, because the front usually it's redundant. You know, there's not much room, right? He just put a little dots there, but not fully develop it. That's a nice touch. Now here I see this kind of flat, so you can use some water and some ink. Just add some a little more. You can still add to it, you know, just add a little shade. You don't have to put the center in the center, you know that. you can put it on the side. So it's a side view. You have to put some in the center at least. Like this is front view. And this is side view. You don't just be suggestive, you know, just very suggestive. I wanted to blur, so I put some water. And this could be very blurred. And you can put water after the line. It's not, just to soften the line. Just add a little accent there and here. So that's my copy, and I would do a little coloring of the petals. So what he does is the yellow first, and maybe greenish. So you can use a little yellow, a little indigo to get a very tender lemon yellow kind of, and then just highlight the lines. Actually, you could use the same brush, but I happen to use this big one. So not really to fill in the space. It's like a highlight. You can leave the center of the petal white. You know, just paint over the outlines. Mainly concentrate on the center part. Just very light, very light. So almost definitely not to cover the ink effect. I got a question from Daisy, right? Is you just keep asking how to get the delicate colors on white paper. And here's the same thing. If you paint pink, you can use pink. Actually, the flower behind me on the table is pink. It's a purplish pink. Just dilute it. You know, you can see how little color I use. Just dilute it. Use the white. The white paper is white, not. You don't have to use white to get pink. You know that. The pink is mostly used on toned paper. On toned paper, yeah. So this paper is white, so we don't have to use white. We just leave it white. You can highlight it later with white. Sometimes white, when you look at it from angle, it turns gray. You know, it's not really making it white as the white paper. The white paper in watercolor is the whitest. The same principle here. So if you just highlight the line with yellow, you make the flower looks, and leave white in highlight the background color. It already feels white, right? And you can enhance that with a white wash, and you do see white. I do see white here, so we can use the Chinese white, which is kind of transparent than the gouache. I just put a little bit here. And you can use a little yellow still to warm it up. The pure white tend to be like a snow, I already have white, I mean yellow on that, so I just use pure white when the wet into wet, you know, just this is almost like a cream or even yogurt. So it covers. Be careful, it will cover. Unless you want, you can cover the line. You know, you can to modify if the line is not beautiful, or for any reason you want to modify it. This is the time you can do that and see. The Chinese white works. the Chinese white in Maurice 12. That's what I'm using. Maurice 12 color set. Okay, same idea. I put some dark, some thick white on the tip, and I kind of draw just like the stroke of the outline. So I don't paint. I don't fill in the blank. I paint with a stroke. Same kind of calligraphy stroke. So there's a pressure in the beginning and then lift. So I have a whiter stroke. So this is basically same kind of stroke. So the color is applied in the same style as the outline or the drawing, if you like. So I really don't worry about lighting, shading, that kind of concept. We worry about yin and yang. So this is yang, and maybe some shady part, we call that yin. You can use, you can enhance that with some green in the center for the stamen or whatever. You know, I just use a little green, maybe put in the. But don't do this just because I showed you. You know, this is if your painting looks already good, you don't have to add any extra. So I can see some even you can do some orange, make it really warm a little bit. It's all possible, but don't overdo it. That's the advice. And I don't have room for the bug. Maybe that's it. Do you like that bug behind the leaf view? Maybe I just copy that. I got a drop of water somewhere. Oh, that's my. Okay, that's. What time is it? Oh, I don't have time to do the other flower. I'm sorry. Oh, 12:30, right? 12:30. Oh, I still have 1 hour. I can't always confuse myself. Scary. Okay, that's the first time I watch my clock. So we have 1 hour to do the other painting, roughly. Okay. Okay. I will try to finish this quickly. So I just do a head of a hidden bug, a grasshopper behind. You can just draw this little arrowhead, and there's some leg. There should be some eye in there. The antenna, eye should be here in the middle. The mouth could be a little warmer. I'll do that later. So a little bit ink, maybe just do a couple of legs hidden there. I can do 2 on this side instead of on the lower side. So it's all possible. Just to be suggestive. And I use a little dark to dot the eye. Just 1 is enough. And I just use a little, I see a tiny little bit warm color. That's all I need to do the mouth or something. A little warm, maybe a little bit on the head, some warm there. Yeah, I try to hide it. It's a reward for people who get really close, right, to see this. And I need to sign. I will just write a short one. Okay. Yeah, it's a long poem he wrote. He says the chrysanthemum in the garden with a sparse fence had a friend of like the bug for drinking wine, to drink wine with, and this stimulates my homesick in this season. Okay, the last sentence is 寒花淡如许, meaning the Han means cold flower, as plain as this. So plainness is the characteristic of this chrysanthemum. 寒花淡如许. Han Hua Dan Ru Xu. Okay. The autumn of year of rat. I can write the credit to attribute Fang, meaning mimic. Liu. Okay, and my name Li Xiaohui. Let me put a seal on it. Just the last name, seal. Right. Yeah, this is basically a cold tone, cold color. So no warm colors. That's the meaning of this poem. Okay. How's going there? Are you ready to do the challenge of this maple? I have also included a quick style, the Xieyi spontaneous style of maple by my own teacher, Zhang Zhenying, teacher Zhang. Let me show you yeah, this is another complete painting. Okay, we're going to do this one later. Yeah, this is the painting done by my teacher. I really like this. Maybe if we have time. Okay, so let's keep this one here. So I'm going to do this one in Mogu style, right? I need to get some colors. I got some trick to play first. This is the Mingjiao or gelatin glue. I just melted from this morning. Okay, yeah, it comes like this, crystals, and you put warm water to get this. The reason I use this is because on this paper, the paper, Gongbi painting paper, we need to use more permanent because we keep washing it. If you use the peach sap, it might not be so permanent, waterproof, you know what I mean? So that's why I use this to resituate the ink. Instead of peach sap, I use this glue to melt the ink paste. Oh, not the ink paste, ink cake. Because the ink cake is the same has the same characteristic as the overnight ink. If this left dry in the ink stone, like a grind ink or a bottled ink, it becomes overnight ink. Overnight ink has this characteristic that's granulation or kind of a lot of sandy particles like pastel, you know. Okay, here's the experiment I did. Another one too. If you want to learn this effect, I'm going to show you. Okay, and for granulation, you use overnight ink and a little bit mineral green or mineral blue, mineral colors, mineral green, which is 593 I'm using, and I use a little umber. Umber is semi mineral, maybe it's from the earth instead of the stone. Right? So this is a 684 Marie's color, all right? And then we use we use one brush with the clean water, whatever brush, and one brush with dark ink. And we just use this small one. We can use a bigger one like this. Okay, and then I use one brush with the medium ink. The medium ink. Okay, let's put it here. We just use this as a. Okay. So for the medium, I just add water. And remember, I already put the glue in this to resituate the. So when I dilute, I use a little. Yeah, you can use a little glue water here to get a medium grade. Medium grade. Let me just put this here. You can see. Okay, so this is about the medium, right? And I just draw some random, random strokes, not to trace anything, just random, just like a tree bark, you know, something. I try to save this bird. You don't have to, but you know, bird could be. It could be part of that could be. I just try to save this this head maybe. Just try to. You see, I already got some effect I tried to do later, but that's okay. It's an accident. I got some dark on my brush. That's the ink ink numbs from this ink cake. Let's just do this part first before I continue. So basically, I paint with this medium ink, and then because I have a design, so if there's no design, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's drop some dark accent. Normally, I do it on the top because the gravity goes down, right? So if you do it on the bottom, you have to make the leaking water leaking effect from bottom up. That's kind of weird against the gravity, right? So I do it according to the gravity. So I put dark in the shady areas. You might call it shady areas, but they don't have to. Could be anything. So, and then you add clean water. So let me just add a little. So this ink is different than the fresh ink because it has the particles in it. And you can just splatter. Oops, got some water here. I try not to paint. I just use water. Okay, I try to define the area of the bark. Just leave the white. I could have used some kind of resist, but I haven't find it. On rice paper, there's no resist like the masking fluid in watercolor on the market. There's someone in China, they try to invent something like that. It works, but it's not available in the market yet. You know, they used to block the ink. They don't sell it yet, just for themselves experiment. Tarashikomi. This is the Japanese technique name for for this. And kind of water in one pole and the ink on the other to interact with each other. I saved that claw. And you leave bits of a white. It's very important. Just drip some water there. Let me just finish this the whole thing. And you can use some opaque color to add to this. I got that drop there yesterday when I mounted this. The table was stained. So that's why I use some green here. It would look very natural to have it. And you don't paint, it drip. That's the idea. Dripping. And you can use some warm color also. Just this should be very wet and dripping wet, like a delivering charging brush. Yeah, so like that. You can have some. I need to mute it a little more. So this is the Japanese called Tarashikomi technique. So you start again from a medium ink with glue. That's very important. If it's too thin, you will not keep the pattern naturally. You know, you can paint it like cheat a little bit. So you can use a little ink and amber to start. So I'm going to do this branch. You can draw the line like you do it with the regular paper, but you can also just like fill in the blanks, but don't have to fill all the blanks. You can leave some white. Doesn't matter. That's why I don't really draw the outline. I have the outline underneath it, so I can feel free to paint like this. And I have the reference picture here because this part is very detailed and I cannot really see it. I can use this. Oh, there's a so this is the tail of the bird in front of the tail of the bird. So you can leave leave a gap there, and then continue on this side. It goes down. So this kind of style is very gombi, very controlled. And if you're not sure which is which, it's very easy to confuse because it's just a line there. You have to make it into three-dimensional in the end. Oops. I think that's. You can plot it if there's a mistake. Okay. Yeah, that's it. If it's not, if it's already too wet, you cannot drip. You have to wait. And that's why in the beginning you don't have to use the wet brush. It should be easy to. You need to create kind of dry brush even, just for the stroke. So there's a sense of stroke in this. Especially this one, I almost like to show my calligraphy. See this, how I do it. You can have a little 女字, the woman character crossing there, right? Just like the plum. We learned the plum. Okay, here is let's see. The brush. You can use a stiff brush. I'm using a soft brush just so I don't have to reload that often. And I need to close this side. This should be a little bit shady, I think. So let's do a little dark. You can make a little shade. And then add some water on this end. So there's a lot of water to create this kind of pattern of, and also the hard edge. So it will push the pens to the edge, hopefully, to form a nice contour. You can draw the contour, but it will be different from the like a natural one. You want to create a natural kind of. Okay. So I'll do the birds while I'll wait a little bit. Yeah, I think we draw it pretty fast. Let me do this part. So I would add the dark. Add the dark and then some water, and you can use green water or green amber water to, in addition to the ink. So I draw this kind of. You don't have to think about the shading, but if you're good at that, it's time to show your watercolor. Maybe it could be shady, this part, right? Okay. But don't try to paint. It should be less painterly, but more like a natural. So just drip like that. Some tender color on the branches is good, and some brown on this part. This especially. And you can put some. You can also add ink. Yeah, I try to create some kind of like a corners, like a, the Southern Zone style landscape painter. This kind of tree that has some hard edges. This is what we call the moss dots. Moss. All right. Now I'm going to do the birds in this. Let me see if I want to do the leaves of the birds. Let's do the bird. Okay, the birds could be important. So this is the sparrows. I will just use a little, maybe a little ink to mute it. Shady part, little ink. And you can leave a white between the neck and the shoulder at the back. Yeah. Okay, remember we talked about the two brush technique? This is how we do it. You cannot really do the gradation in one stroke, so you need to create that. You pull the color like that. And you can charge more if you need it. And you use dryer brush to pull the color. Okay. I start from everywhere so I know the whole picture look like. This is a front view, and we don't see the top of the crown of the head. This is a back view. So this brush is used to pull the color to the side. All right. And I'll leave some white here. Or you can use dark to separate this. Actually, this brush got ink color in it already. Yeah. Oh, this is the color. Okay. So I confused the two brushes again. And you can charge it with the dark, wet into wet, no problem. It's okay to have some feathery look because it's a fur. Feather. Okay, very importantly, the chest of the bird is different color. Let's use a little different than the one I did 10 years ago or 8 years ago, forgot. I'll use a little vermilion color and let me see, and the yellow. That's for the leaves also. I want a little bit orange color on the chest, maybe the bird, and belly maybe a little bit. To add a little warmth. Instead of the white, usually the sparrow, I just create my bird. Just a little pure color in the near the beak. And here it's maybe this is a male, so more intense. Yeah. Okay. And then the belly is a yellow. It's a gray color. You can get gray with indigo and amber, or you can just use a light ink. Doesn't matter. keep that very light because I want to create a contrast between the two birds. Dark one, and let's do the tail right there. Some dry brushing for the, just like a freestyle painting. And I'm not going to draw each of the flying feather. Just draw like this freestyle. Because no time. I just draw the beak and draw the eye, a little eye there, and a little beak. Yes, it's a singing bird. Okay, good. Open mouth. Oh, good. Very detailed. Very happy. The bird's smiling. Okay. Draw a little eye circle around it, but it's kind of foreshortened. Yeah, just like that. I should have done this later. Maybe it's a little blurred, but don't worry about it. If it's blurred, just leave it. And then after it dries, you can go in to fix it. Let me just draw this belly with a line instead of filling. You can just draw it. But to be consistent, this one is done boneless style, without the line. So we just maybe keep that consistent. And see. I think I did a line there many years ago. Let's just fill in that with a little green color, green-gray color. And I'll add a little bit orange color on under the wings. And maybe here too. Okay. I'll enhance this one later, but after it dries. So this one is a hidden one. It's a hidden game. So you won't notice that in the beginning. This one has this tail on the side there, and okay, just add some dark wings there. I'm going freestyle now. I have the saved space for the feet there. Try to narrow that down and just kind of merge into the background. And I'll fill in the space when the wings dry. If I do it now, it will blur it. Okay, so I'll just add a little gray to the sides there. And I want a little orange color just to blend into the environment with the foliage later. Okay, but I need to wait until this dry to do the features in the face. And what's the color for the legs? I did that in yellow. I think it's too tender. Maybe just use indigo and ink. Indigo and ink for this leg. And another one right there. And then you can draw the pattern with a little gray white later. So we're ready to do the foliage, the fun part. What's the time? I think we're going to do it. Okay. So I got color here, and I want to use some rouge and so I got yellow, rouge, and vermilion. You don't want to have the, again, like if you want to make the leaf look like flowers, tender flowers, you need to keep it thin and just have a little bit saturated part. So I'll thin it. And you can always go back and enhance it, So what's the center part? This one maybe. I'll just I want to keep the feel of writing, like calligraphy, not just the gombi style. So it's like painting bamboo, right? And then I drop a little water maybe to create the edge. If you want color change, you have to fake it like that, like a little bit yellow, something like that. So you need to, just like watercolor, it's a lot of work. So I try to see if I can just double load it with water to blend it. Okay, I need some yellow. Just try to make it transparent. Yeah, that's good color. It's a little yellow than this one. So I vary the tint, the hue between each leaf. Instead of each little leaflets, I can just vary the individual leaves a little bit. So I have a tendency that goes from rouge to vermilion, and then eventually brownish, maybe more blue, kind of distant. Let me just add some water, just go like that. 4 petals, large 3 and small 2, like that. Yeah. Okay, now the top one should be more tender. And also notice the kind of change in perspective, some variation. Yeah, just like a painting bamboo here. I'll try to merge some shapes. Just make a into a combined shape. And leave some white in between. I just drop a little water randomly. Okay, then this outer group, you can add a little, to mute it, you can add a little red, maybe. Green. Yeah, indigo, sorry, not red, green. So this design really just helped me to lay out. So I'm not really following exactly the design underneath it. My paper just touched the paper here. I got some very pale effect. That's good. I hate to blot that because when I do it on purpose, it won't happen. But because I just have this touch to the paper that creates some kind of softness nicely. Accident happens. Always good. Let me just add some kind of greenish ones here. Oops, that's too green. I have to take that out. So this paper can be changed easily, right? You can manipulate the color after the initial stroke. So the beginning, you can just use one base color, like if it's orange or yellow, relatively light color. Then you can add other color to it, like green or red. Like under the first one, you can also just blot it. I think my color tends to be too thick, so it's not really floating as I want. And see, this happens. So the water takes time to work. It dries the last. It's still, so at the last moment, it will create that kind of outline for you. That's what we're looking for. That kind of water line, right? So we can add some more this color here just to combine those colors. I like that. And we don't need to have, okay, here we can have some more this kind of yellowish color too. So you should have some part more yellow, some part more green, some part more red. And you have a nice balance of variation of oranges. Okay, and then I charge it to the, oops, what's that? It's green, that's good. Okay, I'm going to add something behind this groove and then finish the tighten some parts that need to be defined. This is just like a little bamboo leaves for me. Okay, now I use some kind. Okay. So this branch goes from top down. You have to decide because on the original, I mean original copy I didn't really pay attention for this. I got confused if it's going up or going down. Now I realize it's going down, so I can do that. Either way will work, but you don't want to have both. You know, you have to decide which is the direction to go before you tell the audience. You know. Okay, so I try to keep this trunk less color, so it would be different than the leaves, right? And I have some blanks. I don't know what's that. I think it's the trunk. Let's just make it into ink. So that's why you use this kind of brush to get into the space. The pointed brush, you always need to fill in little space like that. All right. And then a soft brush as water sponge brush to spread. That's the same kind of combination. So, and then this is okay. I think we need to just fill in all the blank with the trunk color. It's less than time you expect maybe, but still it requires some time. Yeah, we are about 10 minutes, 20 minutes away, I think. Okay, I can do it. Yeah, and you can put in some dark to fill in the space. But I think the let me see what I did here. Yeah, I in the beginning I thought the dark is nice balance. Maybe now I think in the white is another kind of contrast I like to have. So let me just do the branches in these open areas. And the branches goes here, that goes there. You can even do some little stems if you like. I try to interpret this branch goes, I see, it comes from here all the way behind there. Oh, it should be behind the main trunk. Anyway, doesn't matter. But sometimes it's an illusion. You know, it helps also with the tendency of the composition. So this one goes kind of match that. You know, even when you sign it, it has the kind of idea of a continuation of this trunk. If it will finish this, let me sign to record. Yeah, the title I gave in the beginning, in the first copy, is preparing for winter. I'll sign the same maybe later. You can add some color there. Let me finish this bird details. So this one has a eye looking down there, but this one's in the back, so you need to simplify that. And this one has a an underview of the beak. So let me use some indigo to fill in that indigo in the ink. And a little bit on top. So there's opening between this seam, and just make that eye a little bit stronger. Okay. That talks to this, and you can make a little pattern on the back, but not on the head. You can just put some dot. It's a little too brown, I think. You can add a little. That's shoulder. Oh, there's a wing on this side. I need to indicate that. Okay. And that separates the two birds also. Okay. I'll just use some dark on this neck, just a little texture. And we needed to have this kind of nail. Just tiny little things may help. This one may have a little stronger chest. I mean, this one. Gradation. The accent here a little more. Okay, let's see. What about signature place? I can sign here, here. We can still wash the background if you like. And another thing you can do is you can draw some veins on the leaf when it's completely dry. That would also help to add some bones, some structure to this painting. Let's just say you can add, but you don't have to do all 5. Just add, like my teacher did on the freestyle, just the 3 instead of 5. Forget about the little ones, just. But you don't have to do all. Just on these ones, this like closest to you. It's okay to add. I still have to wait there. It's too wet. And this is more like finished, but it looks like a branch. It could be a branch. So you can just make that into a branch. Some detail like that. You make clear, people understand. Like it's a branch behind. Behind it there, something like that. And you can put some mask dots to adjust if needed. This could be, I had a lot of shady area here, so this could be a little bit shady. It could be a bark around there. You can get some dry brush for details, you know, suggestion of details. Just the indication of the bark. Don't overdo it. That's the point. You want to think, and you can look at the picture from distance. Maybe you have a better view than I have. Let me zoom out. I see the color of this bird is a little weak, so I need to. So this is time to do something like a overall adjustment in relationship, you know, with the other part. You'll tell if it's too light or too dark. You need to highlight some part maybe, and can put some shady here. See, I had a dark spot on this one. That's a sparrow. I don't know what the birds is it now. It's a kind of mountain birds, I guess. There's a space for the birds' feet. We like those kind of thing. We always look for this kind of thing. So you don't want to miss this opportunity to add details like that. And you can add some fill in the blanks of the branch. And again, I just want to add some details on that. The little nail, grab the, maybe it's a good idea to add some white. Let me see. Some white, if we have to place some gray, just add. Yeah, oh, I could have done the beak in red. Some birds have that, but I did black. That's okay, I think. We can just add a tongue in this singing bird. Just a little warm color indicate in the side of the beak. And that's about it, I think. Okay, time to prepare for the winter. That's the title of this. Okay, prepare for the winter, to pass the winter. And I'll just write the year 2000. Mm, 20. It's nice to have this painting almost like a mounted when you finish. You know, I'm sorry, something dropped. So I really like this stretching method with the water activate tape. I don't know how to take it out. Maybe I just cut it out and then I deal with the remaining tape. That's how I do it, I think. Okay, let me put my seals on. Okay, let me get the large one. This one first. I can do this behind it, crossing this branch. So my signature, I mean, inscription could be part of the composition. So, you know, it just helps to create more depth. That's the not my last name, Henry Li, Xiaohui Li. Li. This is the line. I can put a seal here, but I think I should leave it because yeah, this is the area that balance the whole space. Okay, any comments and questions? Okay.
Henry, I had a question about using the glue and the paint. This is Cliff Brown.
Yeah.
What, you know, would regular just hide glue work just as well as diluted hide glue as the peach sap glue?
I use the gelatin. This is gelatin. The one I use is gelatin because on Gombi painting with repeated water, you know, especially this one might be okay to use any glue because I don't have to wet the whole thing. Provided, you know, assume that I'm going to do an overall wash. I'm going to spray water. You know, some glue may tend to remelt, not so waterproof. Gelatin is very stable as far as the water resistance, you know. You know what I mean? Gelatin is more stable than other glue. You can use any glue, I think. If you don't do a lot of water wash, you know, like excessive water, because gelatin is very stable when you re-wet it. We know that when you mount the painting, you know, with my wrist, because they use gelatin binding. See, this part is too dark. I think we're going to add some blue to highlight it. And you can still add color to the shady part, something like that.
Henry, can you use what the Japanese use? They call nikawa. I think it's a gelatin, a bone.
Yeah. You can use any gelatin adhesive. Yeah, that should work, I think.
And I wanted to ask you, when you do use the white, if you want to then do a wash to create a background color or tint, that's a problem with the white, right? Because it'll bleed. Do you need to use tinted paper, or how would you approach that?
You mean like a build up gouache?
Yeah, if for instance you had made a flower and you used the white, and you were
Oh, okay. When you yeah, white tends to loose anyways on the table, so you just need to clean the table. It shouldn't. You can make up after it dries, you know, if you still have chance to add back. But sometimes the stick build up like the little pollens, things like pollen dust. They will drop anyway, no matter what. Yeah, you can prevent that with gelatin and alum, maybe. But sometimes you still have to go back and just redot this build up like the little popping up beads.
I tried tinting this Stonebridge paper to create a background color, but I think like you say, it loses its sized quality.
The Stonebridge color paper is not sized completely anyway, so that's not a good paper for this. You have to use the full size paper. You can use the one with the mica.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot this part. This is the beak. I mean, not the feet. This part.
Henry, do the Chinese watercolors reconstitute the way the Western ones do? You can sort of turn them into a block and then use them that way, or once they dry up, are they?
Yeah, you can use water to refrigerate it. It's reusable. Don't throw it away. They will dry in the tube. You know, just like Western watercolor. You can open the tube to. I have a box. I hold all the. You know, we have this stacking trays. You can use. You can also just use this food storage box. Let me show you. I use a little sponge to keep them moist. I got some sponge, just like a kitchen sponge.
Oh yeah.
So I have a whole box of this.
Oh great, thank you. That's what I was wondering. Yeah, can you kind of great.
You can do that. It smells good. Actually, no, yeah, it's like a food. I don't know. It smells like food. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I just fill in the blanks when you talk, when you ask questions. Okay, so I'm adding some missing part, like it was too wet to add here, so I just go through this. And you can still glaze. Like I can add a glaze of blue or very light greens. You can change the hue a little bit. Like I just lightened this part with opaque green on top of the dark. By the way, it's the best way to use that color, the opaque green. You have to use it on the dark or brown or something. You cannot use it alone. If you use it on right on the paper like here, it's kind of pastelish. Yeah. So you need like here. I got brown. I can use some green on top of that if I want. I dotted it a little here to just balance the top. A little, just like a tiny little. It pops. Yeah. Yeah, I really love this kind of candy. Yeah. So I have a lesson here. I touched it somewhere here. I got some dust. Maybe I should do an overall wash to cover them all up, but it's okay. You know, you can turn them into beads if you like. So just also you have to be careful with your arm because especially the size paper don't like the sweat. You could destroy the layer that prevents the size layer. Yeah. you need to clean your arm.
Henry, let me show you something. This is Cliff Brown. I use this old sock on my hand. I just cut off the end and put my hand in here. I learned this from other artists. It keeps you from smearing your work, or it cuts down on the risk of smearing.
Let me see what I cannot see your picture. Let me unpin myself so we can see you.
Yeah, I'm Cliff Brown.
Okay, let me see. How do I do that?
Oh, that's smart. Very smart.
Cliff. Let me show your pictures. Let me see what gallery.
I got my video on. I know that.
Oh, I see. I can pin your video now. Hold on. Let me pin.
They call it spotlight, but yeah, it's you see, you just take an old sock and you cut when it wears out at the toe, then you just use it to put your hand in, and this is the part. It's the palm that does the smearing because you're so. But you will get a little smearing, but it cuts it down by about 90%.
Yeah, you can see my palm here. Without that, it's black. Yeah, you see that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, you'll still get a little smearing, but it really makes it cuts down the problem a lot.
Thanks for the tip. It really helps. Yeah, that's.
Everybody thinks I broke my hand, but it's just to keep from smearing.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Thank you, Cliff. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So you guys haven't met in person for long. If you want to chat among yourselves, that's also welcome to socialize with each other. Let me see. So we have.
Henry, what instrument are you learning? You said you went to a music class. You were learning an instrument.
Yeah, I learned the guqin, the 7-string table zither.
Oh.
The oldest instrument. We call it guqin. Yeah. The ancient. You can. I have some old pieces in my YouTube channel, but. They're not very good, so I'm now polishing with a professional teacher in San Francisco. She teaches over Zoom. That's
great.
Yeah, so that's a great opportunity. She's a very good teacher.
Oh.
Her name
Well,
is
thank you for the great class.
Thank you.
My charge is running out here. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. If there are no questions, I will let you go, and I look forward to see you again. Okay.
Henry, I have a question.
Yeah.
I was having trouble getting onto your website on the Zoom earlier.
Now we can hear.
Oh, you have the recording. I'm sorry. Today I have the waiting room. So I have to admit everybody. If you got late, you got. You may miss some part of it. So
Yeah, because it keeps saying wait for the host, but it never came on.
It's a waiting room. I just admit you. I just realized you. I think I admit you earlier, but somehow you got you drop out again and you come in. When that happens, I have to re-admit. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. I just want to know, did I do something or why wasn't it working?
Everybody was in the waiting room before we start. If you missed anything, we will send you the recording. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about that, because
No problem.
I was concentrated on painting. I couldn't monitor the waiting room. This is the small chrysanthemum we did. It's a grasshopper. If you can still see that. That's and many people said, why is it so light? Because this paper with the same kind of ink, same tone on different paper is different. You see, this is the same ink we did earlier. On this paper is this. On semi-sized paper is this. On sized paper is lighter. Just I think it's just a different style. You know, the light ink. After mounting, you may go back a little bit, come back a little bit. But I like the light. Even my writing, see, it was dark, right? Now it's like 70% dark. But I like it. Like, I think it's nice.
Henry, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
I lost power, so I lost the link. So you're saying that if we didn't get all this, because it just literally just came back on for me.
Uh-huh.
If we didn't see this, you have a video link that we can
Yeah,
look at?
I'll send you a downloadable link and also a YouTube link. They might have different pictures. Sometimes you know, the people popping up, but they might have slightly different. But you'll have two versions. One I recorded on YouTube, and then another one on Zoom. Today I used a feature called the Spotlight. So my recording was primarily on my table, even though there's other talk, you know, people talk. The pictures is all focus on my table all the time. I'll see how that works.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Just be sure to check that video. It should help. So, and you can see the result is getting very much what I like. You see that the edges become hard. The glue takes time to work like this. Yeah. So the glue in the pigment. I mean, if you don't add glue, it has glue in it, right? I mean the gelatin. Yeah. It eventually will push the pigment to the edge, I think. So it takes time. If you try to get this effect right the time you want, it won't happen. Just let it, you know, develop it over a period like 20 minutes at least. So just add some water, let it dry, and that light will show after the water evaporates. Right? And you can see some there too. I didn't put the water there, so that's the flat color. I didn't have much water here, so that's a difference. Just variation, different textures, you know. So hope you get some inspiration to do your experiment. Get this paper is very forgiving. And just like watercolor, if you stretch it like this, you will enjoy it. It will not buckle, yeah, not create any wrinkles. So it's almost like a mounted, right? A very good color intensity. So maybe I should use a utility knife, something to cut it off, but I need to wait it dry completely. I'll show you the picture after I take it out. Maybe I take a picture right now. You don't see any underpaint underneath the design. I can see a line there. So that helped with my composition. At least I don't have to trace it, you know. The pencil line usually limits your creativity. So this kind of line, it's very free. See this? So I just did, if I just trace it, it would not have the same chi or energy. So don't trace it. Put it underneath. Got it? That's a boneless painting. And boneless painting, the beauty of that with Tarashikomi, it creates this line for you. And you can never paint that fine line as the natural creates. Yeah. Okay.
So Henry, once this painting dries on the board, do you just mount it as usual?
Yeah, you can mount
You
it.
cut it off?
you can put another piece underneath. Even though it's flat, I still have a little wrinkle. I think I didn't stretch enough. Maybe you know, it's like a mountain. You know, it was very loose before it dries, all like that. But this little corner here is still, you see that I need to another mounting process. Yeah, I can show you maybe later if I decide to mount it.
So I missed the beginning, but which paper is that? Is that Sichuan or?
This, yeah, Sichuan, mature Xuan. In the beginning of the class, I showed you the difference. And I did this experiment, right? And you can see just by a drop of water, you can see from size, unsized, and something between these three papers. They are different paper for size. There's Shigata wing with without mica. We have different sizes. So they are, if it says size, it's under the category called the non-absorbent. This is semi-absorbent, and this is the absorbent. We have three categories on our website.
Right, but now the painting that you just completed.
This is the one. It's called a sized paper. See the back of it has no penetrate through that.
Right.
One. See, this is sized paper without a mica. You can use the one with mica, no problem. For flower and birds, you add the shiny shine, shine to it. So this paper can be used for landscape. That's why for landscape, I recommend the one without mica, but still you can use with shiny sparkle thing.
Henry,
Yes.
would you be able to, can you write the calligraphy out larger so we can copy it?
You mean?
I mean, you don't have to do it now. Maybe you can just send it out later.
Yeah, I did send you the calligraphy in the last email I sent you with a JPEG image. You know, it's outside the PDF. It has the picture of this one. Let me show you this one in close-up view. This one I did in 2011 or something like that. Lesson 18, I think. That's the class. A workshop, in-person workshop. That's on silk. This is on silk. Yes, it's the same process. You see, I did exactly the same like this paper. It's just a little different. Sometimes it's harder on silk because it's a little stiffer, and you need to use a finer paint on silk. So sometimes we need to kind of filter the paint because silk does not like the little particles, you know. So the Japanese color maybe is a little finer, and the Sakura brand is finer. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Henry, this is Cindy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you put gelatin in all your watercolors, or did you? I didn't see whether you dipped your brush in the gelatin at all. How did you use it?
The gelatin. The gelatin just like water. It's
So
about
you put a little in each of the watercolor then, or did you?
Yeah, just use it like water.
Okay.
Yeah, just dilute. You use it to dilute the paints. I can save it in a bottle maybe. Last night I did this just like a pinch of it from this bag. It's a broken bag, so we cannot sell it. So I used it just like this, like a pinch of salt. And then I used maybe 80, not 80 Fahrenheit, 180 maybe Fahrenheit, right? Something hot. maybe a little hotter than tap warm water, a little hotter than that. Maybe, yeah, a little, but not boiling. You don't need to, otherwise you will not be safe to put in this container. So it's not boiling, but it's 80 degree, how do you say, centigrade, and or 180 maybe Fahrenheit. So anyway, you can warm it with another container with hot water. You know, it may also help. Just cook it that way.
Okay, great, thanks.
It's very easy. I thought you have to do like overnight. No, it just, you can use your fingertip to grind it and it will melt right away. It's very easy to. Yeah, I think it worked pretty well today with this chalk. Exactly what I was saying. Okay, see you next time.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.